Welcome to the Clapper Racing YouTube channel.
Alright guys, tonight I'm going to be working on my fuel system a little bit. Got, this is my old sending unit and my single Walbro 450 that was in there. It's been a good one, but time to upgrade here. I'm going to be putting these dual Walbro 450s in here on this Stu Kelly Motorsports fuel hat with it's got electrical bulkhead, dash 8 feed and dash 6 return. So I'm going to be hooking those up and mounting them to this fuel hat here, and hopefully getting it in the car pretty soon. Got the pumps mounted in here, pretty happy with it. Hopefully it'll go in the tank. The tank opening is really small, but pretty happy with how it turned out. The only thing I have to do is run the fuel level wire, which is right there. I need to run it through the top. I drilled a hole right there. I'm just going to run that one signal wire through there and silicone it up, and should be good to go. See if I can get this thing in there. So in that last clip you saw me trying to get this fuel pump assembly in the car, in the gas tank. Well, I had done some measurements before I made this thing, but I forgot to measure it when I was done because I'm an idiot and I was just excited to get it in. And it's too long. The filters and pumps bottom out on the bottom of the tank before it goes to where it should be, where I can bolt down the top of the hanger. And I got pissed off, and the only fitting I could find that would go from basically from straight these dual 6ANs to the 8AN swivel was a fitting that I had to order from Australia. And I got pissed off and ordered this MagnaFuel 750 instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull one of these pumps out, make it where there's one single 450 in the tank like it was before with this stock setup here, and then I'm going to use that to feed the MagnaFuel 750, and I'm just going to run it like that because I'm tired of messing with it, I'm tired of thinking about it, and I just want to get this thing done so I can start driving it, and I can tune it on the fuel system that it's going to be on for a long time. With this MagnaFuel system, or MagnaFuel pump and Walbro, it should last for a lot of stuff that I'm going to do with it. And I just want to get it done, and like always, it's raining here again. Raining like crazy. We've got pretty bad storms coming in tonight, so I'm going to take and work on this fuel pump hanger tonight, get it 100% ready to go, get my flex sensor wiring tied into the fuel pump wiring on this one. Put this pigtail on here so I can plug it back in so it'll be like normal. And then I've got a couple more fittings coming from Hot Rod Fuel Hose. They're supposed to be here today. I've got all my fittings and injectors in here, and my fuel filter and my fuel filter piece there. So hopefully I can get started and get this thing done by the weekend if everything goes well. Alright, just got the fuel pump hanger buttoned up here. Got the submersible hose that comes with the pump going into this 6AN to 5/16 nipple, and then it just kind of screws onto this bulkhead and comes out. So that's a dash 8 feed and dash 6 return. I got a quick connect right there. I'm going to put the GM flex fuel sensor in. I'm just going to pop it in there and it's gonna bolt, or it's gonna just be right there at the fuel hat. So I've got that, and I wired up. Obviously this is the fuel pump connector, and this is for the flex fuel sensor, which is gonna be right here, so it'll plug in like that. And so that should work good. It's actually a little bit shorter than the one that was in the car, not by much, but just a little bit. So hopefully that'll work good. I don't usually try to run this thing at the track, you know, less than 3/4 of a tank or so, so should be good. All right, finally got the fuel pump hanger bolted in. Fits okay. Got the connectors all put together, and here's the flex fuel sensor. I was gonna screw it straight on to here, but it doesn't look like I'm gonna have enough room before it hits the frame piece right here. So what I'm gonna have to do is just run a small, like a short piece of hose, and then just have this mounted down somewhere else, and then I can run the return up to the regulator here. Well, it's been a frustrating day working on this thing. Nothing has really gone right. I've tried to test fit the Magna Fuel pump, just try to figure out where I want it, and I cannot find a good place to put it. It's way too big to put anywhere. The only thing I really got done was I got the fuel hat in, and I ran the return line. There's the ethanol content sensor, and I ran it all the way up to the bottom of the regulator right here. I'll show you under the car here. There's the new line. Goes all the way back up to the tank. I haven't secured it all the way down, but it's close enough for now. So I'm not real sure what I'm gonna do. I was gonna put the 210s in, the Bosches, but unbeknownst to me, the injectors, the Bosch, even the EV1 Bosch 210s are shorter than the Deca 80 injectors, which is pretty freaking aggravating, because I was really wanting to get those in today. So if I could find my fuel rail wherever I put it with the injectors in it. So here are the Bosch 210 injectors in the fuel rail. Let me get one of these just for comparison. These are the Deca 80s out of the car, and here is a Bosch 210 in comparison. It's quite a bit shorter. So they're telling me on Sloppy they make spacers for them, and I knew they made spacers for these injectors, but I thought they were for the EV6 LS3 short style injector, but apparently all of them are shorter. I had it hanging up here, by the way, because I'm an idiot. I was letting the fuel drain out into a rag. I forgot about that. But so I'm gonna have to order some spacers for the injectors, and I've got a fitting coming from Australia for the that may work, so I can put the dual Walbros in the tank. I'm hoping I can sell that Magna Fuel pump to somebody. I've got I've got the warranty card and the receipt and all that crap. I bought it from Jegs, so I don't know, but that's gonna be probably it for right now. I'll probably film some more whenever I get some more parts in, and start this process over again. Pretty frustrated. I was gonna use this Yard and Farm filter here, and that's too big for me to put anywhere also, so I'm gonna have to get a smaller filter from somewhere. It's probably gonna cost a fortune for one, but whatever. I'm over it. I just want the car to run. I want the fuel system to be upgraded, and I'm ready to be done with it. So the only thing I really got accomplished was I washed the truck today. That's about it. Everything else was pretty much a waste, but whatever. It's still a pretty day, so I'm not gonna complain too much. But I'll make some more content whenever I get some more parts in, and we'll try it again. Always use jack stands, kids. Oh yeah. Oh me. Not too bad for 300,000 miles. No funnel life. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. All right, piston. All right, piston. All right, Rennie. Key to getting a really clean engine bay, what I do is I take me a bottle of half and half diluted simple green, and of course I got my Greenworks pressure washer, and go get you some, it don't matter what it is, just real cheap aerosol, just whatever you can get your hands on, tire shine, and just I usually try to wet the engine bay, degrease it, let it sit a second, spray it off, and then whenever I get everything clean, I leave it wet and I go over it, spray the tire shine on it, and just let it sit, shut the hood, and as I'm washing the car, and it'll give it a nice sheen once it all dries. I've got the alternator covered up with a plastic bag and the distributor. I usually try to cover those two things if it has a distributor. Of course, you can't spray all cars and all ignition types with this stuff, so just beware, but that's usually how I do it, and it works great. Here's the finished product of what you'll get. Somewhat. It hasn't completely dried yet, but it's pretty clean under here for a 300,000 mile Civic, but she's all cleaned up and ready for some more daily driving. Hello, boys and girls. Well, left off last video with nothing going right and basically said I was waiting on parts. So got everything in. This is my Summit Racing fuel filter that I ordered. It's a 40 micron, and if you see on this end the little beveled edge there, this is an aluminum, it's got an aluminum filament in it that you can replace for the filter. I've already got the AN line screwed in here, but it's really small, compact, and looks like I can fit it on my car pretty easy. This is the fuel fitting I ordered from Australia from Speed Flow. It finally got here. This is what's gonna screw onto my dual Walbro setup. I've still got the fuel hanger in the car, but basically this is going to adapt this to this, where I can use both Walbros. Hello, boys and girls. Well, left off last video with nothing going right and basically said I was waiting on parts. So got everything in. This is my Summit Racing fuel filter that I ordered. It's a 40 micron, and if you see on this end the little beveled edge there, this is an aluminum, it's got an aluminum filament in it that you can replace for the filter. I've already got the AN line screwed in here, but it's really small, compact, and looks like I can fit it on my car pretty easy. This is the fuel fitting I ordered from Australia from Speed Flow. It finally got here. This is what's gonna screw onto my dual Walbro setup. I've still got the fuel hanger in the car, but basically this is going to adapt this to this, where I can use both Walbros, and hopefully it'll be compact enough to get it in the fuel tank without bottoming out. I got these Bosch 210s in, and of course they were shorter. Tried to modify the bracket, but that didn't work. So I bought these 10mm spacers, and I got those, and I had to grind them to make them fit, as you can see. But they're in there now. They are from Fore, F-O-R-E. They're 10mm spacers, and they look like they're gonna work. I got all the fuel lines ran in the car, feed and return. I'm probably going to buy a 90 fitting, a 6 AN to 6 AN 90 fitting here, because I don't like that. But everything is hooked up and ran. I don't have all the fuel lines tied up exactly how they're going to be. I've got get some zip ties. I'm out, but fuel lines are ran. The Bosch 210s are in. They're in the car, and I've got all the lines ran to the fuel regulator and everything. So I've got to I've tightened all the fittings, but first I'm going to fire up the laptop, and I got to change the injector size to these Bosch 210s, which are 2200 cc's. Starting Tuner Studio up, if it'll ever load. This computer's pretty slow. So I'm gonna use the controller settings, and then engine and sequential settings, I believe. Yeah, injector size 2200 burn. Now let me go plug the fuel pump relay in. Ethanol percentage isn't reading for some reason. Maybe it's just because of well, I think it's just because the fuel's not flowing. Test modes, IO, enable test modes, fuel pump on. Fuel pump's running. Hopefully that ethanol percentage will come up. If not, that means I've got it wired wrong, which could be a possibility. Alright, I got a huge fuel leak coming out of this fitting here for some reason. So that was just me being an idiot. I've got 56 pounds of fuel pressure. I didn't have the fitting tightened down on this side of the regulator. Thought I did, but I didn't. But as you can see, it's not leaking. I don't see any leaks on the injectors. So I got to get that ethanol content sensor working again, and then we'll give it another shot. She's running good. No leaks yet. Don't want to jinx it, but no leaks yet. Here's the rain I was supposed to get right here. Finally got the rain. Right when I was in the middle of wiring the second fuel pump. But hopefully it'll clear up in just a second. Don't look like it's going to set in very hard, but just wired up the second Walbro pump. As you can see, I had to make a new plate too, because the old one, the hole was in the wrong spot, and I couldn't get the grommet on there. But there's the two relays, there's the wiring. They're completely separate wiring, just in case something goes wrong with one, I can still get home. And they both go to here, and I'm using the nitrous out on the Mega Squirt to do this. Put this battery cable back on real quick, and obviously I got something wrong because the pump is constantly running. So at least I know the pump runs, but let me change that. So obviously the Mega Squirt defaults to ground. So what I did was I made the coil power come off of the power off of this other fuel pump relay here, which is my primary one that runs the car all the time. And so it steals power from that. So go ahead and test this here. Go ahead and turn the regular fuel pump on and turn this pump on, and it is working. They both seem to be working, so good to go. But there's a lot of flow going through there. A lot of flow, but hopefully that will work. And that is the end of my troubles for the fuel system for now. But she's together, and I'm kind of glad that I found that, because this was going into the relay, and as you can see, it's got pretty hot, and it was just about to burn in too. So kind of glad I had to do that, because I would have never really noticed that. But I'm gonna put this thing back together, tidy up a few things, and she should be ready to roll. I'm probably gonna take and clean it up a little bit. I haven't washed the car in a while. It's pretty dirty, so I'm gonna clean her up and get her ready to go. But until the next video, appreciate you watching, and take care.